Power BI dashboards have been around for years, but their real-time streaming feature will be retired soon. However, Microsoft Fabric now gives us a new option with real-time dashboards, more powerful, more flexible, and built for live data. In this video, I will compare Power BI dashboards with Fabric real-time dashboards and then show you a step-by-step how to create a Fabric dashboard that works in real time. So let's review this solution together. So what I want to do in this video, I want to split this to three sections. In the first section, I want to show you how you can create a Power BI dashboard, which I don't want to spend that much time there. I just want to show main items there. And then I want to compare the Power BI dashboard with Microsoft Fabric real-time dashboard, but in the section 2. But in section 3, which is the biggest part of this video and the main items and main goal for this video, is to how we can create a Microsoft Fabric real-time dashboard. So in this workspace, which is a Trial Fabric, the workspace with the Fabric capacity, but it's the trial version. I still have 13 days left for using that capacity and that license. So first, I added these two sample reports to this, workspace: revenue and spend. To create a Power BI dashboard, you can't create it in Power BI desktop. So Power BI dashboard, it's something in very high level which you can pin some visuals from reports or from Excel file, Excel Online, or from Q&A or a stream data or push data set into that. So for example, I have this visual, this report, 2 pages, and I want to pin this visual into a dashboard. So I will click on this one, new dashboard, test, and click pin. So that will be pin. I can click on go to dashboard to open that one, but before that, I want to pin this one, another visual from this other report to that dashboard. So the good point about the Power BI dashboard is you can pin different visuals from different reports into one dashboard. So the goal for Power BI dashboard and what is the biggest difference between dashboard and report is, for report you can create that by using Power BI desktop, but for Power BI dashboard you need to use the Power BI service and you need to have license. I don't want to go through the details. I just reviewing the high level items, main items. For the Power BI dashboard, you can pin visuals from different reports, and that's created to focus on the high level items. For example, you have salary, HR, revenue, sales reports, and you want to create one high level for your high level managers, and you want to pin some of those main visuals from those reports and show that as a one page. So I have done those two visuals. So let me back here, refresh this page to see, that test dashboard added here, and you can see one visual added there. So then I can add this one, click on pin, and existing dashboard, I don't want to add it to new dashboard, test, and pin it there. And then if I refresh the page, you can see another one added here. I can pin the overall report into the dashboard. So here, if I click on edit, then I can click on pin to dashboard and then click pin. And then if I back here, the whole page has been added here. So there are many options there. The other item you can add a tile is you can add the web content, you can add image, text box, video, or you can using custom streaming data, which is those push data sets, or you can create a streaming data set. But as I said in the intro of this video, the streaming data sets will be retired soon. And using this streaming data for creating the Power BI dashboard will be retired. I think October 2027 is the date which that will be totally retired. So you can use even the push data set to add the data here. The Power BI dashboard is limited to one page. So you can add the data visuals here, but you can scroll down with more visuals and things here. It's not interactable, means if I click on December, that will jump into a report which that visual coming from. So it's not something you can set wilted unless you go to the focus mode. So if you open this in the focus mode, then there are filters here. So these are about the Power BI dashboards. You can't set something like a slicer. You can't set the filter on the page. So it's very overall view of what are those visuals you added from different reports. If you want to refresh the dashboard, then those reports which this visual is coming from there, those need to be updated. So if you refresh that report, the visual here will be updated. If that's a direct query, that will be updated as well. And then the other the good items is you can add the Power BI dashboard into in your workspace app. So these are the overall things you can do with Power BI dashboard. But then comparing that to Microsoft Fabric dashboards, let me bring this one here. So there are some differences. As I said, the data source, Power BI dashboard, you can use reports to pin those visuals from there, or you can pin the whole page of the report. You can use Excel, Q&A, push a stream dataset, and image and video. But in the Fabric real-time dashboard, you can add native Fabric real-time intelligence sources, which I will show you what sources you can use, like a KQL database. You can write a different KQL query set and convert them, transform the data and then visualize that. In terms of the updating data, so when you update in the Power BI dashboard, when you update the reports, the data set related to those reports, which you add the visual from them or pin the visual from them into the dashboard, that will be updated as well. But for the Fabric real-time dashboards, it's stand update. It's totally live data. Whenever something changed, you can see the change there. You can even set different refresh time. You can even add that to be always live, continuous update. So whatever added to the database, that will be to your database, to the KQL database, that will be shown on your dashboard, which I will show you later in the demo section. Use cases, as I said, that Power BI dashboard is created for business reporting, very high level, something like a glance view of what's happening in that area. But in the Fabric real-time dashboard, it's more like operational monitoring. You can have Internet of Things, you can see the transactions, you can see live customer activities, many scenarios. And in terms of the customization, as I said, Power BI dashboard is limited to one page, but in Fabric real-time, you can add more than one page. So it's multi-pages you can add there. I think I need to add one P here. Yeah. And then in terms of the customization, in terms of the color and those things you can change, in Power BI dashboard, you can set the theme. So here, if I want to change the theme here, I can't change the color here, but I can say, okay, light, dark, some limited items and some limited, some limited customization for users. But in the Fabric real-time dashboard, you can set the conditional formatting. You can set the parameters and set the filter on the page, which you can't do that in the Power BI dashboard. And you have more control on the visuals. Too many visuals you can add by using this Fabric real-time dashboard. In terms of the scale of the data you can use in these two different type of dashboard, Power BI dashboard is limited for high volume of streaming data, but the Fabric real-time data, the dashboard is created for high scale streaming data. So let's say you are working in a bank, million of transactions per second, and you want to visualize that real-time intelligence in Fabric created even for those big scenarios. And then in terms of the future support, Power BI dashboard, the streaming data set will be retiring in 2027, but Fabric real-time dashboards actively developed and is one of the area which has been updated since last year to now, since even when the Fabric Fabric announced, too many new things happened then, and there are many more great things in the pipeline. So this is the very overall comparison between the Power BI dashboard and Fabric real-time dashboard, which I added more details in the blog post, which the link is in the description. If you are you are looking for more details, highly recommend to read that blog post. But the focus in this video is to create a Fabric real-time dashboard and show you how you can create that type of dashboard. So yeah, that was the comparison slide, and this is my Power BI dashboard. I don't need that one. I don't need that one now. I need to create this one. Okay, so I created two. Before I jump into the the real Fabric real-time dashboards, I need to show you what data sets I have. So there are some videos on my channel and there are some blog posts which I showed you how you can run some codes in your notebook to running the API and send those data into an event stream and save those into a KQL database. I won't go through that one. There are some videos and blog posts which you can watch that and see how you can do that. I created one for ISS. Let me show this one. Where is ISS? It's here. So there is a website. Where is the ISS? Which is that ISS is International Space Station. So that's showing the real time of the location of the ISS, and that gives you free API. So I added that API here to receive the data from there. As you can see here, API where is the ISS, and I will receive those data, and every second that will run the API and send the data into an event stream and will be saved into this KQL database. If I click on this, you can see there are every second is date and time is in the Sydney, Australia format. So you can see now I receive a data for every second I receive a data from that API, and that's showing me the the location of the latitude, longitude, and then the velocity, visibility, and more data. On the other hand, I added the another items here, which is the taxi information. So in those videos which I told you about how you can run this notebooks and how you can create using the event stream, how you can run Fabric real-time analytics, I showed you how you can use some of the sample data sources which Microsoft created those items, and those are available, and you can use them for running the scenarios like this one. For this demo, I added that taxi sample data in my event stream, and that every second I receive some events, so some data streaming to this database, which showing some information about the taxis in New York. So but the daytime are a little bit old, but that's fine for this demo. But you can see some data like a number of the passengers, trip distance, a store and forward flag, and many other options. But I just added that here to show that in my demo we can connect our Fabric real-time dashboard to different data sources. Like now I have two KQL databases, and I want to show you how you can connect the one dashboard to both of them and create visuals using those data. So okay, so I create the Fabric dashboard here without any data there. By the way, if you want to add that, create a new one, you can click on create new, and then there is a real-time dashboard. If you click on that, then you can create dashboard from here. On the other hand, if you want to create that, same as how you remember when I showed earlier how you can pin a visual from Power BI report into a Power BI dashboard. Here in Event House, if you're running some queries and checking the data here in the KQL database, you can even save this query into the dashboard. It's like a pinning visual in Power BI. But now I don't want to go to that one. There are many items and options. You can add a visual or data, bringing the data into a Power Fabric dashboard. Okay, so this is a Fabric dashboard I created, Fabric real-time dashboard. There are two views, viewing and editing. So I want to create some visuals. I need to click on editing. And then you can see the first big things. You can add page here. I can add page 2, I can add page 3. And that's a really great things about the Fabric dashboard. In Power BI dashboard, you are limited to one page. And then there is one tile here. So if I click on one added tile, then I need to add some KQL database, the KQL query here to be able to see the result and then add the visual here. So first I need to bring some data here. There are some items for me. I can connect this dashboard to Event House and KQL database. For example, I can connect to each of those databases I created, which I have done that before, because here in Manage Data Sources, then I can see which data sources added to this dashboard already, which I added them here. I can add another one, for example, new data source, Event House. I can add this demo SE here and connect that. And here I need to add a name for that. Demo SE is the default name, that's fine. Then database, you can select what database you want to bring from that, Event House here. And then there are two options. These two options are very important because you can give the access to the people to using the dashboard editor's identity. Then in that case, if I hover the mouse here, then you don't need to share the underlying data with the user. So they will using your identity to using this dashboard. So you will have access to the data source behind this dashboard, and you don't need to give the user access to that data source. They will use your identity to using the dashboard. But you can say no, pass through the identity. So then they need to have access to the underlying data sources to be able to using this dashboard. So I will click on add, and then if I go to manage and then seeing the data source, then I can see this new one added here. Anyway, so first time on first page, I can rename this one to, for example, ISS location and add a new tile. So here I need to run some KQL data, the KQL query. I have done that before, so I just need to copy paste here the data here. So first thing you can add here is if you just type the name of this table and run it, then that will return the full values and records from that table. So all the tables, all columns, everything will be added here. And then when you have this one, very simple, you can click on apply changes, and your first visual as a table has been added to this screen. So you can see all of these items and all of the columns here. You can play with this and you can sort it with the side, with those values in the column. And then I can see, okay, sorted by the newest data here or sorted by oldest one. And you can see now is 958. But if I refresh that one, and new data will come in here and added here. So you can see some new data added here. And then whenever I refresh that, data coming and added to this table easily. You don't need to wait for those, like a Power BI dashboard, someone updating the data, the semantic model, or updating that, refresh that report to be able to see the new data on that visual. So you can click on this refresh and that will be refreshed. But you can even add auto refresh here. So if you go to manage in the auto refresh section and enable that one, then you can set the minimum time interval for the users from continuous to 10 seconds, 30 seconds to 1 hour or 1 day. And then they can only use, if you limited them, they can use something in that range. You can add the continuous and that will be updated every second, but be careful because that will use too much, too much of your capacity. But you can set that one and that's a good thing. So I can add the continuous and then the continuous here, then this will be refreshed automatically. So every second that will be refreshed. As you can see data added here, then that will be refreshed again, and that showing real-time data here. But for now, I don't want to have that one, so I will turn it off Yeah, turn it off for now. So I added the table here, but if I want to change that, then I can, let me bring back. So I can click on these three dots, click on edit, or there is an edit button here when you are in editing mode. You can click on edit and add other, for example, other queries here. So I added this one to see the altitude over time, last 15 minutes. So if I run that one, that's showing me the last 15 minutes altitude, average of the altitude for that, ISS. So if I run that one, then save that, that will show another version of that table. Or I can say, okay, I don't want to see that in the table. I want to convert that to the visual. So here I can change the name to the average AVGLT, and then I can add a description here, and then there are some options here: table, bar chart, column chart. Too many options. It's not comparable with Power BI. Power BI dashboard. Yes, you can create many different type of visuals in Power BI report and then pin it to dashboard, but you can't create this amount of visuals inside the fabric, inside the Power BI dashboard. So for example, I want to add the column charts. So in the column charts, I can say, okay, what the y-axis is the value of this, and then the date and time, and that's showing that average of the altitude in numbers, but because that's not changed that much, so the bar chart is not that good. So I will return that one to for now to table, and then adding another visual and change that to deep bar charts or map. So here again I can add to new tile, and then this time I will add the velocity. So this time I want to add the velocity, average of the velocity in the last 5 minutes. So if I run that one, that's showing one single number, and I can add it as a card. So stat, and that's it, and apply change, and there is a card here which I can play with that one, make it bigger, make it smaller, and add it here. And then I can add another tile. Let me bring this tile here. Yeah, on the new tile here, which I want to add the latest rows, latest records in last 10 minutes. And I want to see the latitude and longitude. So to see the location of that, ISS. But this time, add a visual. I want to change that to map. So I click map, and then here I can see by actually it's showing that, but you can define the location by geopoints or by longitude and latitude. So here then you can add those items which that's already done, that identify the data and already allocated the correct column to those fields. So that's it. So I can say auto center, or just auto center when the location is changed, or changing the size. Okay, I can say, okay, changing the size by the altitude, but or I can turn it off because that's showing, from pretty small to big, but I just want to show the location there. So apply changes, and then we can see even the location of the ISS here. Refresh that one, and you can see it's moving to here. Whenever I refresh that, there is a new dot will be added, so we can see that it's moving from north to south, and it's around Africa at the moment. So if I check that here, so let me check that here, and we can see that and it's around Africa at the moment. So that's good. Every second you can see a new dot will be added here. So I added the one page for ISS. In the next page, I can rename it to taxi and add some other queries for the taxi. So for the taxi, I can add data. For example, here I can change the data source to RTI demo, because the taxi data is there, you need to make sure to select a good right data source or event stream and database, KQL database, and then you can read the data from the related table. So I write this KQL to see the number of the trips last 24 hours, average of the trip per day last week, and the ratio. If you want to see what data, you want to see all data again, you can just add taxi and run it, and you can see very big long table with many columns, which takes 3 seconds to be loaded, and you can see all of this data here. But I don't want to see that one. I just want to see these 3 items. So then I can add the visual to say, okay, add that as a multi-stat and add it to the page, which showing all of this data here for me, but I need to change that one to only 1 row and 3 columns and 1 row, and then apply change. Perfect. Now we can see trip last 24 hours, average trips per day, and ratio. So whenever you refresh that, the numbers can change because it's summarized in 24 hours. Not going to change that much for this one, but if you change that to trip last 1 hour or 10 minutes or something, then you can see the change in there. So I added this one, but then I can apply some conditional formatting here. So in the conditional formatting, I can say, okay, if the data is above, for example, for ratio, I want to say if it's above 1 or equal to 1, green. So you can say, okay, if this one is above 1 or equal to 1, add it as a green and save. Then you can see, okay, that's applied on everything, because in terms of the data, that will apply on all result column. You can change your query to have them in different columns and then apply it to this one. Or for this demo, I will remove the ratio from here and run this code there. And then let me remove the conditional formatting, apply these two are here. And then I will add a new tile. And this one, I will add the only ratio. So just for this demo, you can change your query later to make it correct. I didn't change this one to RTI demo to have a taxi there, and cancel and run it again. So now I have a ratio, and I can this time change the visual to stat, and then I can add the rules. So first I can say it's above or equal 1, green. Then about the less than 1 and bigger than 0.5, and then amber or yellow, and then less than 0.5, red. 0.5, then it's red. And you can add even tag, and you can define some of these icon as well. And here we go, it's added here, and we can see it's amber because it's between 5 to 1. You can, whenever you want, you can change those conditional formatting here. So you, for example, I can change this one to be if it's between for example 1 to 6, be yellow, and then if it's less than 0.6, it's red. So that will be changed to Z, to red. And then I can add one icon here, and that icon will be added here as well. So I can add this visuals even in the same page as the ISS added there. So there is no limitation. So I can add a new title, make sure to change it to the right KQL database with the right data, with the right table, and then run it, and then apply change. And you can see I have the data for the ISS, and then data for those from that taxi database. So you can add different data from different data sources as long as you bring that data source in here. But I will remove this one. I can see it's coming, the data coming here, and the ISS is moving. That was the parameter we can add there. You can that was the Another page you add there, that was the conditional formatting, but now we want to add the new parameter and set the filter. So here I can click on new parameter, and then I want to label that as time range minutes, and then time range variable name time range minutes as well. There are many, four, five options here: multiple selection, free text, time range, and date. Data source, it depends what type of data you want to keep in the parameter. And then you can set that, okay, what is the data type? So it's a real, decimal, integer, and data type, or line. But for me, it's a string. Show on pages, all pages. For example, you can write the fixed values, which I want to do that, but you can run the query. The query is perfect because I was working on another API with the name of the cryptocurrency in the previous videos. You can find that one. And I wanted to, in one of the example, I wanted to add the parameter here to be able to see the cryptocurrency name and filter the dashboard to showing for example, a specific crypto. But there was more than 300 or 400 cryptocurrency. I couldn't add all of them here. So you can run a query and say, okay, find the unique values in the cryptocurrency name and add it here. So if a new name added there or removed there, that will be automatically added or removed from that, visual, from that parameter and filter. But for now, I just want to add the fixed values. The value is 10, so we can say less than 10 minutes. The other one is 20, and then less than 20 minutes, and then 5 minutes, less than a 5 minute, and 1 minute, less than a 1 minute. So let me update this one, 5 and 20. So the label will be this text, but the value will return is these items. So you can say select all to that filter or that slicer, which I don't want to do that, and you need to select the default value. I will add 10 minutes as a default value and click done. When I click done, I can see a new drop down added here. By default, there is a drop down for last 15 minutes, 13 minutes, 1 hour, 3 hours. And if you want to manage these two and update them, you can go to manage parameters. And then, for example, this time range is by default added there. And then you can see that's added as a date and time range. And that shows the last 1 hour. Select all and last 1 hour. So, or even in that one, which I added now, this one, time arrange minute. If you want to add another one, for example, for 7 minutes, then you can add that one less than 7 minutes, and then done. And when you click on save back here, you can see the 7 minute added here in the order we added the data here. But now if I select each of that, nothing will happen here because we need to somehow add that parameter and that variable, because we added a name for that variable. Let me back here again, variable name into the KQL query we added here. For example, for this one, if I go to edit, then I can add some of the data here. For example, I can add it here to involve that parameter into the KQL query, added that here. And if I run that, then that's already done here. So it's on 20 minutes. If I click on 1 minute, those data will be filtered by the last minute, all the data in the last less than 1 minute ago. And 5 minutes, you can see it's coming from here to here, from 10 past 10 p.m. to 10:15 p.m. So you can sort it this way. If I add the 7 minutes, then you can see the data for that one, last 10 minutes as well. I can add that into the location as well. So here, edit the query, and I add that one here. I wrote those queries before. It's in these days with the AI, ChatGPT, and many other LLMs and models, it's very easy to write the query, KQL and other queries. If you don't know how to write it down, just get the help from those, ChatGPT and other AIs. So if I click on run, apply that one, then I can select 1 minute, and that's showing the 1 minute location of the ISS, and then the average altitude here. If I select that's 5 minutes, then you can see it's showing the last one and this one here. So this was the main items to creating a Fabric real-time dashboard. Make sure to save data here when you want to say when your editing is finished, and then you can go to viewing page, and then in viewing you can see those items. You can always set some alerts here, which I want to cover that in another video. That's very big topic that talking about the activator, how to set those alerts and then receiving them, setting them up. So I don't want to make this video that long. If you find this video helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe my channel, and share this video with your friends. Bye for now.